I'll be using this mini hoop to show you the two main stitches involved in web making. You'll use this technique regardless of the spiderweb template you choose. If you're new to embroidery, this is how you prepare your hoop. After loading your fabric, you want to tighten the screw and gently tug the fabric outwards. Repeat this process until your fabric is taut and sounds like a little drum. Next, thread your needle. I'm using the full 6 strands for this demonstration, but as you'll see later on, we'll only be using 1 strand for the web. Bring your 2 ends together and double knot them. Then snip off the excess and make another cut just below the knot. While holding the knotted end, you're going to pull the thread until you're left with a 3 to 4 inch tail on the other side. Then as long as you maintain that nice tail, you'll be able to stitch normally. Okay, let's practice. We're going to create the web's radius with the back stitch. Using the spiral threads as a guide, bring your needle up and then take it back to meet the previous stitch. Repeat until you reach the bottom. And if you still have some thread left over, jump over to the next spoke. Once your thread is too short to work with, double knot it on the back of your hoop. I like to press down the loop with my finger to get it as close as possible to the fabric. Once your radial threads are done, we're going to move on to the spiral threads. For these we'll be using a fly stitch. You'll notice that I'm not pulling my thread all the way, leaving room for me to bring up the anchor thread. I then reinsert my needle close to the original hole so the anchor thread becomes nearly invisible. Here's a closer look at how this works. The anchor thread will always go on the most extreme point of your spiral thread. In the PDF tutorial, I drew a little diagram that shows the ideal places to add your anchor threads for this demonstration. You'll notice that the bigger and rounder your spiral thread is, the more anchors you'll need to add. I like to gently guide the thread down with my finger, so it's easier to place the needle exactly where I need it. I make my webs to fit a certain frame, so I start by measuring the inside area. Then after loading my image into a word processor, I crop my spiderweb template to fit my needs and resize it to the width of my frame. These sheets are super easy to use. Once your web template is ready, you print it onto a sheet with the fabric side facing down. If you don't have a printer handy, turn your brightness up and trace your design onto the sheet using a pen. You can choose to use a regular circular embroidery hoop or an oval one. I'm opting for the oval shape to save fabric. And just like before, I'm pulling the sides to create a taut surface. Then I cut, peel, and stick my design onto my fabric. If you chose to use metallic thread, you're going to be very annoyed with this. You're going to snip off approximately 20 inches of thread and single out one strand by placing your index finger between it and the rest of the strands. Then you're going to guide that finger forward while you untwist with your other hand. Continue this process until all your strands are separated. It might be tempting to just pull one out, but metallic thread sucks and will tangle worse than wired earphones. You'll end up with damaged areas where the metallic coating has separated from the inside thread, and it'll be unusable. Now thread your needle with a single strand and let's start stitching the central hub spiral. I'm using the back stitch for this and moving in a circular pattern. Then as I reach the spiral threads, I switch over to the fly stitch. You'll notice that my anchors move off center when the spiral thread is dipping more on one side due to gravity. And just so you know, this whole process takes me hours, so try not to get discouraged. Once you've completed your web, run it under a stream of warm water to dissolve the fabric stabilizer. Adding the beads is pretty simple. Insert your needle, grab a bead, thread it, and reinsert the thread as close as possible to your original hole. I generally stick to the smallest bead size for the center hub, and as I move outwards, I'll use the larger beads for the intersections or where gravity makes the web dip. Overall, I try to be random with the bead sizes so it looks more natural. To finish your hoop, use a running stitch all along the outer edge. And then pull to cinch it. Finally, use a knot to secure it. And now you're officially done.